Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. Yesterday I heard about this mishap, but I found it hard to believe because you Bajans, you know you love your funerals, and people are usually viewed. You usually have the top of the casket opened, and people walk around and they look at you, and some may even bang and whisper something, and sometimes they even get a kiss, a little tap there, here and there, a flower is placed. You usually see the person. So for them to have buried the wrong person, I found it hard to believe. And although the person was telling me about it, I didn't want to say, well, you're a liar, or I think I told the person I didn't believe the story. But then I asked about it in my chat. I asked, was there something that happened that, we need to talk about? And this came where they were saying that it was supposed to be Valdene, her last name, the Clarke. Clarke is the same name for both of them, but it was supposed to be Valdene instead of Violet, and they buried Violet, and they had to exhume the body. And I wondered about that because they said that it was televised and then it was taken off of YouTube. But unless they had a family plot, let's say you had a family plot and the person had their own space assigned for them, case, not in case it happened, it's going to happen to all of us, but when it happened, they had a plot and a special family area. Unless it was that, why exhume it? Why exhume the body if it's already buried and you realize there was a mistake? You can correct the records, but why take up the body? For me, I think there's too much ado about the transition from this life to another life, or this death to another life, or this life to death, however you want to look at it, because everyone could have their own feelings about what happens after you die. No one knows. But for me, I feel as though you just go on. I feel as though if you had consciousness here, if you were thinking and moving around, which is not a good, being inside the body is not a good thing. We all know, well, I think we should all know that it's not a good thing. It'd be better off if you are spirit and invisible, because once you collapse into a body, you're tainted right there and then. But anyhow, yeah, I find it hard to resonate with all of the emotions that go along with someone who is of age, like 93 years old. 93 years old. You want to just like transition and start anew, or just like, lights out. But yeah, I don't have the emotions. But yeah, so they're saying that Lyndhurst Funeral Home gave the wrong body of a deceased person with Funeral Home. The woman, whose name is Valdene Clarke, she was given to with Funeral Home for another deceased whose name is Violet Clarke. Valdene was a 73-year-old woman, whereas Violet was in her 90s, 93. Now Valdene's family went to collect her body to bury her, and it was voila, they had buried her already instead of whatever. But yeah, I find this hard. I find it hard to believe that someone who attended the funeral, and someone would have attended the funeral, didn't they? Didn't they attend Violet's funeral? Anyhow, I found it very hard to believe. I still find it hard to believe. I'm going to say all of this is alleged. Yeah, that's going to be my new word. I'm going to say all of this is alleged. And if you know more about it, just state it in the comment section of YouTube. But there seemed to have been allegedly a mix-up in persons and the person that was buried was not the real person. Last name was the same, and they had to be exhumed, and the funeral the funeral that was televised. It's televised, and there was a video on YouTube was pulled. It was taken down, and I hope everything's okay now. Just hoping, keep your fingers crossed that everything is okay. But like I said, unless there was a family plot, everywhere up to me, they would stayed in the ground, and I would have just asked that the records were updated instead of Valdene. You just fix it, but leave the person where they laid. But to each their own. This is Sherry Veronica.